Well, it gives me great pleasure to introduce episode 143 of the Sussex by the Sea podcast, the Fan Roundtable. We have got various teams here from different leagues now. We've got National League South, Enfield, the returning Gabs. Hello, Gabs. How
Hello,
are you,
hello.
sir? Good, yeah.
Very well, Chris. Yeah. How are you?
Good. I am recovering from a bank holiday away day, but other than that, I'm okay. Shame the team didn't turn up. And also we got obviously talking at National League South. We've got the wonderful Rob from Horsham.
Evening, you all right?
Evening, yes, yes, very good, very good. We've got
Good.
we've got John from the Canvey and the Isthmian Prem,
Evening,
currently.
Chris. Yeah.
And also we've got Ian, or Isthmian Southeast Hastings United fan, and I'm sure he's got a soliloquy or two to say about this season already. Would that be the case, Ian?
Yes,
Yes.
maybe.
Yeah.
No, one of
Yeah.
those.
Well, we've got to crack on. We're going to crack on with. We have to go to Gab straight away because nearly a couple of years now, I think, since you've been on.
Yeah, something like that.
Enfield have held their own in the National League South. It's a bit of a struggle this season. Only early doors. The fact that it's been tight in terms of the results. Is that a reflection of the game? Or in terms of the matches that you had?
Do you know what? It's a confounding experience being a town fan sometimes. I don't tend to pay lots of attention to pre-season either because, I think a lot of players hate it. Management certainly do, and although they're not always reflective necessarily of once league action rolls around. He says, and then we had some decent results. We beat Braintree kind of really well. Looked to dig in. Like there are a couple of performances we put in where you thought, yeah, do you know what? We look solid. We look to be kind of going somewhere. And the league season's rolled around, and we again, kept two clean sheets, a couple of nil-nils. Tried it again against Hornchurch. Ended up with egg on our face because they scored in like the 88th minute. Tried it again against Tottenham yesterday. Again, conceded 92nd minute. So it's almost like our default setting is backs to the wall. Which I think, without kind of sounding too kind of pessimistic or without kind of, taking swipes at the management and stuff, I don't think too many people expected us to do. And it's far too early to press the panic button.
Of course, yeah.
But you'll always get kind of one or two little voices which will gradually start to elevate, which are saying, what we're doing. We're doing the same mistakes as last season, and we should be kind of we should have a bit more courage to take the game to teams, basically. Don't get me wrong, our start was tough. We had Torquay away, we had Maidenhead who got relegated, Worthing who are always a pain. So to come away with from those games with 2 points, we thought, okay, not too bad. Two clean sheets from those as well. But yeah, last few have just don't really know where the goals are going to come from. It's 4 games without a goal now. So and that's the same problems that plagued us last season, really. So as well as the usual kind of I don't know what it is about Bank Holiday Monday. You get a good crowd in. Like the bigger the crowd, the worse the team seems to do.
Yeah, normally, yeah.
So it was and we seem to have that affliction every year. So all in all, not the worst not the worst start, but by no means the greatest. So we really do need to start putting the ball in the back of the net and start getting the points on the board kind of by the end of September, I think. Otherwise, it's going to be another long old season of struggle, mate.
Yeah, yeah. What's I haven't been following Enfield. On the occasional, I always have a look at your results. But in terms of investment, any many changes since last season?
We're as I've kind of said to you guys before, obviously our sources of income are always going to be somewhat limited. Given that we're like fan owned and run, so we don't have any kind of sugar daddy providing any kind of we're not like Dagenham or Salisbury to have kind of Middle Eastern ownership. But do you know what we've obviously we've got better gate receipts over the last year, which has been really good. Like the average crowd has kind of been pushing 900, which has been really good. It's up significantly on even a couple of years ago when we were an Isthmian team. So that's allowed us to kind of push the boat out a little bit more with signing. So we got Lamar Reynolds in, who scored Maidstone's goal against Ipswich in the cup a year or two ago. Looked really sharp in pre-season. I think he's yet to find his feet in the league a little bit. Signed a couple of others. Adam Jones came in from Cheshire, had a really good season. Rude Donaldson from Chelmsford, obviously, them going full time. So we kind of picked the bones off that as well. So the difference between this year and last year is that we signed players who have had a lot more experience at step two, would in theory have that kind of pedigree. And again, they've proven kind of in some of the games, they've shown glimpses of what they can do. But for a lot of it so far, we've just kind of dug in and, I mean, we spoke before the recording started about step four teams, being either ones that can play football or kick lumps at you. And we're a kind of, even though we're a step two, we look like an odd blend of the two at the moment. We're just kind of being a difficult kind of stubborn team, really. And it's, I don't think it's what a lot of fans expected, but I'm sure that there's an end result there.
Hopefully. Oh, okay, thanks, Gabs. Well, let's keep it National League South. Rob, Horsham.
All right. Yeah, it's like I say, it's our first time, so we're adapting to anything. We talk about tough starts, and we obviously started off with Chelmsford away. So that was for the first 75, 80 minutes we were with them toe to toe. But I think what we're finding in this league is like sort of the fitness of the players are a lot different to what we're accustomed to in the Isthmian Premier. So sort of kicked on 80 minutes and they nicked a last minute, 5 minutes, I think it was the 85th, 86th minute, they got a goal and that was that really. And either team really looked like scoring, but that was a tough start, but it looked promising because and then you start then going on from there to Worthing at home. And they were just clinical. We were awful defending. I think that's probably the worst I've seen us defend. I think Dom came out afterwards actually and said that's uncharacteristic of us to defend like that. And we were 2-0 up and inside 25, 30 minutes and not even to get it to 2-2. But well, keep that lead till half time was a bit of a sucker punch. Those goals they scored, I think, in the 41st and 47th minute. So then after that there was only one team in it, and then we scored one at the end, and it looked like we could do something, but there wasn't enough time. But it's one of those things. It's a tough old league. Those two games were items. You had this. I think that what sort of summed it up was Worthing's number 14. Big, powerful, 6-foot player. And he comes off, and another giant comes on, and that's what you're up against. You're not up against Isthmian Premier little players that are things like that. So that was tough. And then midweek to Chesham. And scrappy 0-0. So we took the first point on the board. And as you can see as well, I think a lot of our players were naive the first couple of games. They weren't, you could see Worthing and Chelmsford have been in this league. They were experienced at playing the game. And our boys, we tried, but, we just haven't got, there's a couple that sort of pick up on that game management or dark arts, whatever you want to call it. And bit by bit, we're learning. Then Chesham away, then Torquay at home. To be fair, that should have been 2 or 3-0 up by half time. We're dominating that game. And then the one thing as well is that teams in this level, the top 8 or 9 teams that you would think would be there or thereabouts, they're just clinical, man. They had like one shot, they had nothing, and then 86th minute pops up with a 1-1. You think, oh, here we go, we chucked away another lead, but we go down the other end and in the last second score a goal and win that. And the boys sort of grew confidence and got from there. And then yesterday was a tough old slog in that heat on that pitch. It's sort of a bit of a slope to it, and went 1-0 up, brilliant half, and then second half we just ran out of gas. The boys, to do 2 games in 48 hours, our boys just aren't that level at the moment. I think the fitness is just showing, and at the moment we're picking up an injury and knock a game, and with a small squad we can't really carry on with that. So there might be
something that didn't happen last season as well.
Yeah, exactly. We maintained it, and we had a much bigger squad last year. So to pick up a knock, I said it before. I think the first one we did of this a month or so ago before the season started. We'll be all right, but injuries and key injuries. But at the moment, we're picking up an injury game, so we need to somehow sort of stop that. But every game we have lost, we've lost by a goal. I don't think we're going to be where we are now, probably around there. We're going to be obviously fighting it, but hopefully with a bit of a rest and some players sort of adapting and coming into it, we'll see what we can do. We all know what to expect in this level. It's tough. It's you got 11, 14 time teams or 10 or whatever it is. It's it's brutal. So but no, we're enjoying it. That's the main thing. We're taking a lot of fans away from home. There's another 250 of us went up there yesterday.
Oh,
Chelmsford, I think we took over 300. So it is there. And at home, no one wants to, we've had 2,100 and a 1,400 crowd. So, our place is, when we can start singing at home, that's going to be the fortress. And we need to make it like that to have any chance. So, and pick up the odd point away. But no, it's been an eye-opener. It's been enjoyable to watch and fun. But man, it's a brutal league compared to the Isthmian Premier. So we'll see what happens, and hopefully we can find that goal scorer. We've lost one already; it didn't even kick a ball. So we'll see what happens, and go from there. It's not been an easy start. So
Rob, can I ask what happened with Botti?
I think basically, so obviously he came in. He's obviously gone through quite a few clubs, as we all probably know. But he played down in Lancing, scored a goal, pretty charity shield kind of game. And then we played Billericay at our place. And basically Dom wanted to reward all the Isthmian Premier teams because it was an Isthmian Premier shield at the end of the day. So he wanted to reward all the players. He wasn't even in the squad, which was a bit odd because a couple of the signings were, and they did come on, but he was standing with his family, and then literally as the game finished, he just stormed off, and you knew then something wasn't right. And then when he wasn't in the squad at all for Chelmsford, you knew it was just a matter of time. I think Dom's quite clearly come out. He openly says he doesn't like signing players. And if the players that he does sign need to be the right kind of mould and into that dressing room, because we can now put a full 11 out that have played over 100 games for Horsham. So we have players that have been there for a long period of time. So they need to sort of blend. So I think there's been a clash there between Dom and, it might not have been Dom, it might have been his management stuff, I don't know, but there's been something going on there. But I can still see that he hasn't got a club yet, hasn't picked up a club, so as I'm aware, so there must be some sort of, trepidation with him kind of thing. But he looked decent, to be fair. The game I saw him, the game and a half I saw him, he looked like he had a first touch, he was shoot outside the box, which we need. So, it's a little bit of a shame, that one, but not to give it a month or so. But, I think we're going to be quite important, like picking up in the loan players, I think, this year. We got that Leon Gravett who scored the winner for Torquay, who comes from York, where obviously Dom has that connection with Hinchelwood. So we'll see what happens with players, but the main core stay there, and then everyone's chipping. It's just injuries, man. It's just killing us. But like you say, we didn't have that last year, and to have any chance, you need your players out. But they're just little knocks at the moment. That's the problem. So, it's been a tough start. You look at Chelmsford; they're going to be there or thereabouts. They're not going to score many, but they're not going to concede many. Worthing, Torquay. It's see what happens. But we'll move on to the next couple of games are important. Salisbury at home, and then Eastbourne Borough, who have been struggling to start at home. So we've got to make home and get a few points, 4 points out of those 6, I would have thought, and kick on from there. But it's a fun league to watch, that's for sure. It's not as I think a lot of people think it's physical. I don't know what you think, but it is physical in the sense the players are a lot more bigger, taller, physical, but the ref doesn't. The refereeing's been atrocious, and they don't allow it to be physical, the game itself. So that's the sort of number one note we've taken out of it. So, but we've been successful playing football on the deck, and then we decided to kick it up in the air with these 6-foot players when our tallest is about 5.5 foot. So sort of try and work that out. When we played to our game like we did with Torquay and got the ball on the deck, we played some really good stuff at times. So hopefully we'll get back to that and kick on.
Okay. Thanks for that, Rob. Right then. John, let's go to you. Talking of difficult starts, as I said before we started recording, the fixture gods weren't kind, I felt anyway, and it's not been a great start for Canvey. What's it been like watching it?
Well, when we spoke before, when we were previewing the season, I said that it was going to be a bit of a baptism of fire, and safe to say they've got burnt. It's been a frustrating one, really frustrating. Obviously, it's a very new side. We've had a lot of players leave, obviously, over the summer. A lot of new faces come in. Some players who don't have much experience at this level. A couple who do. And I think it's funny, as time's gone on, I think you've seen maybe who looks like they can hack it at this level and who can't. We do seem to have a solid core of about, I'd say about sort of 6 or 7 players who look like they can be difference makers in the team. But yeah, everything just seems to have gone against us really. From the get-go, we've had cavalcade of injuries. There's about 6 or 7 starting players out at the moment. Thankfully, one of them did come back, cameo appearance on the bench on a Monday. But yeah, we're just, I won't throw them completely under the bus. I think I'm not going to turn around and say that the effort isn't there, because there's certainly effort from a fair few of them. They're trying to run their socks off. They're trying to, make things happen. But we're lacking in key areas at the moment, particularly up front is the biggest concern at the moment. We have no out-and-out striker. I think our main source of attack was going to be Finderell this year. He, unfortunately, I think had a burst appendix or something after the first game, so that's ruled him out for a couple of weeks now. So without him, we've just completely lacked up front. There's a couple of players trying to make things happen. We've got a boy called Tyler Forbes coming on the wing, and another called Sean Emavidi. I'll probably butcher his name. Good little talented player, but he's young. He's only 19. He's inexperienced, and you can tell it shows at times. And then, just, I don't know, in other areas we've just lacked. We've conceded some silly goals. I mean, sort of going through the games, I mean, Cray away was always going to be a difficult start. They're a good team at their grounds, got some good experienced players in there. Obviously, I think they signed that Chris Dixon, who was obviously with yourselves, Rob, last season. Everyone knows what he can do, and I saw as soon as they signed him the night before, I bet he scores against us. And lo and behold, of course he does. But no, I mean, after that, we had a couple of chances. We hit the post, but header just wide, and it looked like we were going to claw our way back into the game. But I don't know. I think again, sort of the lack of experience at that level showed. It being a very new side showed, and Cray just, they shut up shop and got the second kill of the game. Chesson at home was an awful experience. We just looked totally off it from the get-go. I'll be honest. There was nothing really to take from that. We got our first goal of the season. It came from a centre-back. So I sort of said it all, really. But after that, we just crumbled in the second half. I'm trying to think who we had next. Obviously we had a tough weekend just gone as well. We had, obviously, Dulwich away. Dulwich seemed to be sort of, well, they've started the best out of all the teams in the league by the looks of it at the moment, or them and Brentwood. But the funny thing is, we went there and we didn't even play that bad. The first half, we held them to 0-0 at half-time, and it looked like it was going well. And then just, concede a silly goal at the back post, and then, unfortunately, went down to 10 men, and the keeper was as much I don't want to throw him under the bus. So again, like other people, he's at fault for the second goal. He got caught off his line, and the players absolutely loved him. And then, Folkestone was well in the middle. Again, Folkestone, we sort of huffed and puffed really, but just again outdone by a team that looked more experienced, more up for it, and that brought us in here. So yesterday against Averley, the other games I've kind of, sad to say, I almost been a bit apathetic, walked away and thought, I didn't expect much. So, but going into that yesterday, I thought, right, they haven't started that well. They've got a very new team as well. And this is a game we need to really be picking up points in. And we started well, took the lead for the first time this season. And we seemed to be playing well until they snatched an equaliser. And then we just took our foot off the gas. And second half, again, there was just nothing there. There's nothing up front, no real threat. And a really stupid error at the back just allowed them to nick a winner right late on. So it's annoying thinking, for all the faults our team did have last season, I think it wasn't a particularly great game yesterday. That team could have probably turned Averley over. But this one at the moment, it's I don't know, it's been hard. As I say, I don't want to throw water completely all over them at the moment. There are a couple of boys you can tell out there who do have a bit of talent about them. But others I think have been drastically caught out at this level. The sort of big furor with the fans at the moment seems to be the fact that with our mainstay keeper, Bobby Mason, seems to have been benched. It's a bit of a head scratcher as to why, because, the other guy we've got, Lewis Green, he seems all right in spells, but again, not used to this level of football much. Bobby's an experienced keeper at step 3 now, so it's been a bit of a baffling decision to bench him. And I think from what you see when you see the players making cryptic messages on Twitter, it very much looks like he could be off, which, if that is the case, I can't really blame him, because who wants to sit about on the bench all the time? So it's been a difficult one. I've looked at it either one or two ways when we talked before. It was either going to be something that surprised me, or it was going to be difficult, and unfortunately, it's been the latter. We've got a hard month coming up now. Morning the Cup on Saturday. It's a big spending Morning team who probably wouldn't look out of place at step 3. And then the likes of Dartford, Brentwood, Welling away, and Whitehawk as well all to come up next month. A few teams that maybe start a little bit indifferently, but difficult places to go, and others that are punching above expectation. Maybe it's not getting any easier. So we're going to have to really try and dig deep and find something, because the more and more we keep slipping, it's going to be harder to get ourselves out of that hole.
I see Pete Taylor's put out a statement today. Have you had a look at that?
I did have a look at it, yeah. It's been taken a bit of a mixed way by some fans. Obviously, he's owned up to the fact that it's not good enough. Losing 5 on the spin, that isn't great. It was a little bit of an head scratcher when he said, we need to run more. It's like, well, he's a little bit more than that, Peter. But yeah, I don't envy the job he's got on at the moment. It's a difficult situation to be in. And yeah,
do you think they give him long? Do you think they give him long, John?
I don't know, to be honest. I'm not really privy to sort of all the behind the scenes talk and that anymore. I've tried to sort of distance myself from it a little bit anyway. If results keep going up like that, particularly, let's say, games where it's looked like we can take something and then throw them away of our own validation, then it's going to be hard for him to try and maintain his position there, But I suppose the thing is obviously however long we let this go on for, if you can't get those results, then it's a case of having to find someone else. I don't know where we find someone else from at this point. And it may be a case of having to build a whole new team, like about a month or two into the season. And that's not going to be any easier either. So, yeah, you don't really know what to suggest at the moment, really. Obviously, I've talked to a couple of the players as well, boys we have had there for a while, particularly our captain. I had a chat with him after the Dulwich game on a Saturday, and I could tell he's absolutely gutted the way it started. But yes, it's just a difficult one for him at the moment. It's hard to know where a win's coming from, really. We're going to have to try and pull something special out of the bag somewhere, and then hopefully if we can get those first points on the board, then it might give them that confidence to come along and start picking up results. But yeah, in a league as difficult as it is this year, it doesn't look like it's getting any easier,
Well, that is the beauty of football, John. It can surprise us. It can surprise us. It might not be all doom and gloom. Next time you're on, you might be talk about 2-3 wins in a row.
Yeah, it will probably be the ones I'm not there for. I've got a bit of a check a month in terms of games I can make with prior commitment to weddings and that. So the guarantee is the ones I'm not going to be there for will be where we actually get results. It's always sod's law in that regard. But
I'm sure you won't mind though, as long as you get 3 points.
Exactly.
Right then, let's thank you for that, John. Right, Robbo from Folkestone. Hello, sir.
Hello, mate.
Yeah, good.
Hello, gents.
You all right? You all right? All
good, thank you, mate.
Good.
All
right.
Good, man.
I bet you're good, eh? Folkestone has started well. They have started well. Impressive. Come on, talk to me. Talk to me about it. Have you got to any of the games?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I went to. Actually, I've only been to one. I went to the St Albans home game at Margate. We won that pretty much last kick of the game. It's been really good start. It has been really decent. I've not managed to get to the other games just because of work commitments. Really, I've just had a bit of a bad run of being at work at the weekends and stuff. So no, but there's a real positive feeling around at the moment. See, that's got loads to do with the results. We haven't lost yet, and as far as I'm aware, all the performances have been positive, even though we've not picked up the 3 points. So it's been good. He's brought in Jay Saunders as the manager. He's brought in some really, really good players. Exceptional players. A lad called Kevin Locko at the centre half, who's he's our captain now, and he's been incredibly good. Another lad called Josh Strauss is a striker. He's a local boy, and he was playing at Loughborough Uni. He's come back to Folkestone, and they managed to get a hold of him, and he's a really tidy player. Got some great players. Mikey Berry, he came from Tunbridge. He's sort of a diminutive little playmaker. Yeah, it's good, man. It really is. We're playing some good football, and there's we haven't played. Obviously, we won't be playing a proper home game until sort of mid-October nearly, which is a bit of a shame. But because it just feels like the club's moving in a positive direction. Losing the grass isn't perhaps like a purist idea of football, but knowing that the club, they're investing in the club, they've done so many things for the club since they come in. So everyone's in pretty good mood at the minute over there, and it's been really good. So I'm looking forward to the games at the moment.
So how long are you at Margate for now?
Well, we've just played one game there though. We've got another couple of games. They're telling us that they put another update out today saying that the tarmac the tarmac's going down this week at some point, which is a funny thing to say about a football pitch. And they said it's on schedule. So I think we're supposed to be playing, I can't remember who it is, but like 14th or 15th of October at home. We've got
So
a
that's
bit of a weird one. Yeah. So we've got a game this weekend in the Cup, FA Cup. That's a home game, and that's at Ashford. So we're travelling around at the moment. We're like hobos. Yeah. Yeah, so we're just moving about.
See, Terry sent me a picture. Was she at the Margate game as well then when you played?
Yeah,
St Albans.
yeah, she was.
Sorry.
That's right. Yeah, she said she was at the game. I think they played away at somewhere in Surrey near Cobham on the Friday. They won, and then I bumped into her at the at our game with St Albans. Yeah, it was lovely to see her actually.
Yeah.
She's a good egg. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was a pretty good crowd over at Margate as well. I mean, there wasn't loads of people there. I'd say we must have had nearly 300 over there. It was pretty good considering it isn't, although it's not far in terms of miles, it's probably, whether you get the train or you drive, you're looking at an hour. So it doesn't feel, it's no more local a game as Hastings, really.
Yeah.
It's the same sort of deal, But I think a lot of the supporters, it seemed like half of the crowd there were going to the Sex Pistols because they were playing that night at Dreamland. So, yeah, that's why everyone pretty much, a lot of the old boys were there. Shirts. So yeah, no, it was a really good day, excellent day, good start to the season. I've only got positive things to say at the minute, so yeah, mate, it's
good.
exciting times.
Well, I don't know. How can I say exciting times at Hastings? Maybe not after yesterday's game. I'll just go to you, Ian, and I'll chip in a little bit about.
Tell us about yesterday before I start talking about the earlier games, because what happened yesterday?
What happened? Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So it was must just set the scene. Went to, obviously it was Crowborough, slightly difficult to get to from a journey point of view, train and then bus. And for us older gentlemen, half an hour on a bus on a away day.
Was that a replacement bus or was it
no, just a normal bus?
Right.
That can be an issue. So, you have to maybe bring your shiwi with you or whatever for us older gentlemen.
That's an image we didn't want.
Yeah, exactly. But we started well. No, lovely little ground. Definitely a step for ground, but Crowborough, lovely little ground, nice program, nice people there. Hastings started well. Sort of like, I mean, we had a lot of changes to the team. When you're looking at the team sheet, you're like, it's not too much there. We've had loads, for the people that don't know, we've had loads of changes, loads of players have gone. We've got a lot of players from sort of county level. With the ones that we get for Eastbourne Borough, we got Barry from Eastbourne Borough, but he's a bit slightly injury prone, risk, but definite quality. He got injured straight away, and I don't know when he's back. So anyway, getting to the game, started well. It one of those ones where you're like, this is too easy. First 10 minutes, set piece, which we were just god awful with last season. Set piece goal, Gil Carvalho got the goal. It was like dream start. It seemed like we were running 80%. We didn't need to put 100% in. And literally about 5-10 minutes later, I mean, we did have moments where we hit a bar and things like that, but we just seemed to drift out of the game. And Crowborough were well worthy their win. They really were. It was just, we just couldn't establish ourselves back in the game. It was it really was dire. I mean, we were poor. And the players after the game did say they were poor and that we're going to bounce back, because we should not be losing to that, really, considering we shouldn't really be losing into those. And that is a great scalp for them, Crowborough. Wish them all the best. But the football wasn't good either. So it's definitely step 4. I don't really want to moan a bit about it too much, Ian. So talk to me about some of the other games.
Well, I think I've been cautiously optimistic based on the thirds, because we had 3 home games in a row, 3 home games, 3 clean sheets. Although if you actually saw the games, you would be consider that some of the, at least one of those, the Eastbourne Town one was, I had no idea how that was.
Yeah.
I don't know how we won that game. They seemed to miss some chances from actually inside the goal, as far as I could tell. It was
charitable. That's what they were. They were charitable.
Charitable, yeah. But I think there have been quite a lot of good individual performances in those 3 games. I think quite a lot of the younger players have been positive. We've played some decent football at times. We've lost our way at other times, but we played more passing football in a couple of those games than we did for months last season. So I think overall it's positive. You kind of you need it to knit together into something. And
that's it's an easy start. That we were blessed with an easy start.
Yeah. We haven't played anybody who's anybody really, have we? So you kind of need it to knit together. You need it to come together into something more coherent than it is at the moment. I think you mentioned Brad Barry. We really miss him if we're relying on him as the kind of the midfield general sort of thing, that's great because he looked the part for that. But if he's not there, then we look very lightweight in midfield. And that's no disrespect to the players who've been playing there, because I think they've done all right. But they're not that sort of the midfield general kind of
we lack a lot.
But I think there's lots of positives. As I say, they don't really add up to very much at the moment. But as we've got a totally new squad. I mean, there's only 2-3 players who were there last season, and most of those were bit part players.
Yeah, I mean, Freddie Legg obviously on the wing, wonderful goal.
Really good goal. And to be fair to him, I mean, because
then he got sent off.
Quite critical of him last season, and him and Finn, because I don't think either of them really stepped up. But to be fair to him, he's really put a shift in at fullback as well as being a danger when we moved him forward in that game. And then got sent off. But what can you do?
Yeah.
So I think they're a positive. I mean, Finn's also been a positive, and I thought he was really good in that Eastbourne game. He was the difference between the teams. You want him to supply that kind of spark, that little bit extra up front, and I thought he did that. And I think he'll get some stick because he's a great big lump, but I think Callum Barlow's put in some shift for us as well.
He does seem like he's got the weight of the world on his shoulders, though.
Yeah, I mean, he needs a goal, doesn't he?
Yeah,
he needs a goal. But he also needs people to get around him because he's a good target man. He'll hold the ball up, he'll cause problems, but it doesn't mean anything if the ball just drops to somebody who's going to clear it.
Well, it's also that delivery as well, because we struggle. Particularly yesterday, it was it's all well and good having him up there, but if you're not getting the ball to him, or he's having to run around for it,
it's a thankless task that role if you don't have the support and don't have the supply.
I mean, the problem is last season. I haven't completely washed last season out of me. So
let it go, Chris. You've got to let it go.
It's just
have you not finished the therapy? Because they applied 3 months free therapy with the season ticket.
And it was just that when people disappear in games, and you're like, look, we're not going to go back to that. And that's a little bit. I felt a little bit. Some of the older players, and there was only Chapo there that was there, and he did disappear a little bit. But I think this is just a one-off. I do think we're bounced back. We've got a tough game against Faversham. Faversham are top of the league in this league, the South East. We've got them in the trophy.
What, this week, isn't it?
Yeah, Friday.
FA Cup, isn't it?
FA Cup then. Okay, right. We've got them in qualifying round. Yeah, so... and that's away, and that's going to be a toughie. Faversham have got a few quid as well. So, and I think one of the finest goalies ever. What's his name?
Tommy Fagg.
Tommy Fagg is playing for one of the finest forwards who can play goal.
Our keeper got sent off yesterday, didn't he? Did he get sent off?
He did get sent off. Yeah.
And so who went in goal after that?
Dean Gunner. Centre half, and he did all right, but
he was no Tommy Fagg.
No one can be. I mean, one of the highlights of the season. But yeah, so we love this. It's the ups and downs begin again. And let's see where it goes. Thank you very much, chaps, for coming on. And I wish you all the best to all of your teams. And we'll see you at the game.
Especially John. We need to cheer John.
Yes,
really.
Yes.
I mean, it's heartbreaking.
It's going to happen, man. You'll be a big old beaming face when he comes back on, I tell you.
Either that or we're borderline alcoholic by then.
We all are, mate.
All the best to all your teams.
Cheers. Cheers, John. Cheers, Rob. The two Robs, Ian, Gabs. See you at the game. Take care, lads.
See you later. Take care,
mate.
Cheers.